Good evening, everyone, and welcome along to EML. We are here tonight for season number 5. It's round 9 of the championship, down to the nitty-gritty as we come here for the Emilia Grand Prix, the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix from, of course, the Autodromo Enzo Edino Ferrari, of course, otherwise known as Imola. My name is James Head. I'm going to be taking you through the stream, of course, as always, on this fine Wednesday evening. Hope you are all doing well. And joining me in the commentary box, as always, it is Mr. Jamie Morris. Jamie, how you doing?
I'm good, thanks, mate. Nice to be back in the commentary box after commentating F2, which was a great race, by the way, in F2. But in F1, that was also an astonishing race with a photo finish there, with the top 3 getting ever so close, separated by under a tenth as well, as Yossi lost 2 places on the line towards Benza and Tom. And that is crucial, for the championship, because it looks like F7R had the upper hand in the last few races, before the Dutch Grand Prix, but afterwards, OP has started to claw their way back, and actually, they're starting to lead the championship now. So, in the last 2 races, OP have had the upper hand, and they're taking the championship lead by 8 points. So, all to play for in these last 2 races.
It is all to play for in these last 2 races. Indeed, of course, Benza taking the win in what could only be described as race of the season last week, which you missed, Jamie, and I hope you guys didn't miss in the chat. If you did, go and watch that back a little bit later on, because it was a absolutely bloody brilliant finale it was. Benza out on top from Tom in second. Yossi in the end, who led coming through the final corner at Juntao, ended up third and getting absolutely swamped by the Shizou and the outplayed Racing Man, respectively. You saw a quick glimpse at the standings as well. There's only 2 points. 2 points separating the rivals of Outplayed Racing and F7R. And this is going to be very interesting indeed to see how this progresses out on track tonight. OP hold the advantage. 3 wins and 8 podiums to their name. 287 points from F7R in second on 285. Then a bit of a jump down. NLR, however, though, in third are still not out of it. 224 points. 1 good race here tonight and 1 bad race for OP and F7R will really bring them into play. Team Shizou exactly the same in fourth on 204. 83 points behind it tonight. G-League there in fifth on 170 points. Again, they're not entirely out of it. ETA maybe are. They're on 133 points in sixth. 154 points behind the leaders. Race Concept Racing in 7th on 83, only a point behind as X Esports in 8th on 82. PGS Sim Racing in 9th on 79, soon to be named, of course, Rising Lions. And WSC Esports in 10th on 48 points. And we referenced there, in terms of the standings, OP and F7R, 2 points separate them coming into tonight. Every single team has had pretty much a win in the top 3. The top 3 teams out of there have had a win at least this season. So OP are there, but F7R chomping at the bit.
Yeah, they are indeed. I think NLR have had a couple of wins as well. I think they both have been in the wet on the occasion as well. So NLR have been up there too. And Team Shizou with 4 podiums, only about 20 points behind NLR too. They haven't got a win this season, but looking to claw their way back in as we're going into the lobby very shortly. Then with an 18-minute qualifier session and a 32-lap race. I can't wait to see what Emilia brings around here, because it's a great track for racing indeed. We'll see a big DRS train, but the long straights we'll see overtakes down into turn number 2, and also the starts of the race too, which can provide plenty of chaos in the twistiness of turn 2 to turn 4. But should be an interesting one tonight. I watched a part of the race as well back in Brazil. I saw G-League goes king on the podium, but unfortunately, I think he spun or made contact with somebody, forced Cameron Dowd to go off the track, and I think he picked up a bit of damage too. So both of them, unfortunately, had damage due to that. And Tom took advantage of those two, came swooping through, and almost took the race lead, but Benza had it in the end after an outstanding race. I watched that as well just before we started going live streaming about an hour ago. So, yeah, it was a very good race indeed, just to refresh myself on what happened in the last race, because I commentated at F2, which was a great race back then as well. But I'm back in F1 for sure now, hopefully in the last 2 races.
Yeah, I'm glad you're back for this, because it's Imola, and it's going to be a very interesting race out on track, but the conditions may change as well as we progress through tonight. Looking at the lineup, though, for tonight, that is not an FER man alongside an ETA man, or it may be. Red Bull, though, represented, of course, by ETA, Havmik, and Damien. He is still under the FVR tag, so that's why you're going to be seeing him running the FVR tag tonight. Tom and Cameron Dowd's in for Team Shazoo in the Mercedes, and McLaren's are Aurelian and Yossi for F7R. Felco's and Matt's also in the Aston Martin for RCR. GL and GL Enzo in for G League in the Alpines, then Ryan and Flopmanner in the Ferrari, for Outplayed Racing. German definitely looking well, I've got to say, Ryan, in recent weeks. Shocks and Wundex there for WSC as well in the AlphaTauris. NLR Keki and NLR Nuth. Nuth returns to EML. Out of OP, of course, last season, returns to EML under NLR. Going to be interesting to see how he gets on around here. He has had a love-hate relationship with Emilia in the past. Jeslar and Jakku in the Alfa Romeo for X Esports. Williams, by the way, for NLR. And PGS Lucas and PGS CC Brain are in the Haas. For PGS Sim Racing, soon to be named, of course, Rising Lions. Let's have a look then at what is happening out on track, as the drivers are just beginning to leave onto track. And the first man out on track is the German that I referenced for Outplayed Racing. It is OP Ryan. He has had a phenomenal run of results so far in PSGL, has done a fantastic job compared to last season. Can he convert that form from PSGL and from elsewhere into tonight here for EML and indeed for OP?
We're about to find out. Got plenty of experience under his belt, so let's see if he can perform. Has got more drivers coming out on the circuit as well. Or really in P15, I think I remember him spinning at Ferradura back in the Brazilian Grand Prix. So a lot of lost points back for F7R at the Brazilian Grand Prix. So hopefully for their sake they can convert it, because it's been a bit of an on and off season for OP and F7R. The pendulum was both ways in different races, of course. Both had their strong and races, but in his final 2 moments this season, final 2 races, this is very key not to get anything wrong. It's all to play for. Only 8 points separate them, so not a lot of room for error whatsoever around here in the last 2 races of the season.
Yeah, definitely not. And of course, coming into tonight, Ben's of course taking the last 2 wins, both in the Netherlands and indeed in Brazil. Yossi has taken a win in Qatar and also, I believe, early on in the season, along with Aurelian in Britain. So with that being said, we've got 4 race-winning drivers on track here tonight. Ryan is not one of them, but he is in the run down in towards turn number 1 and 2, in towards the Tamburello chicane, and he's done exactly what I did around here in my league race. He got caught on the outside curb, absolutely cascades himself across the chicane. That is not how you want to start off the night, my friend, as he now comes through the right hand of the Villeneuve chicane and in towards Tulsa corner, not to be confused with the swear word that we use here in the UK. He now comes through the left-hander, running up the hill in towards Piratella and then in towards Aqua Minerale, one of my favourite sections of the track around here. I did get punted off coming through Aqua Minerale in my league race around here as well. Less to say about that, the better though. We now come through Aqua Minerale, through that right-hander curve, then through the left-hander on the run up in towards Variante Alta, pretty much the highest point of the track now with a 50.3 in the middle sector. We should see 48 49s in the middle sector though, after Ryan cascaded himself in towards turn number 2 at Tamburello. On the run now down in towards the Ravatas, the double left-hander. Again, one of my favourite corners on this track. You've got to really get on the power. 3rd, 4th gear coming out from the left-hander, on board with Ryan. Let's hope he doesn't come in the pit lane. He doesn't. Ryan's now on the run to the line with a 15-1, even if he's had an excursion over the track. That's not a bad lap actually at all.
Yeah, a decent lap there. He kept going, and just to set himself a banker and see what else he could do on his next flying laps. We've got both F7Rs coming very shortly towards the line. I think Yossi went purple in that middle sector, but his teammate is the first one out of the 2 to set a lap time. So I expect this to go quicker, which is going to be a 13.4. What a banging lap time that is. What about Yossi in the second McLaren? What can he do? A 13.5 then, so a few hundreds away from his teammate already in there. And we've got Gio across the line now with a 13.8 representing G League. And G League's had a few decent results, almost on the podium back at the Brazilian Grand Prix, but unfortunately Ghost King got himself involved in a few instances. I think G League have 2 podiums, as Havmik has gone P3 for ETA in the Red Bull then, as they're currently fighting, I think, ETA, G League in the championship.
Yeah, G League, of course, with Ghost King picking up a podium finish in the Netherlands, it was, and GL in Japan. GL, of course, racing here tonight as well. Other race winners have included FER Stefano, OP Nando, NLR Marlon, and NLR Marlon again. So that is the rundown of who has picked up. Joey RC won here as well for Team Shazoo back in Brazil in Season 4, Round 10 of the Championship. The manager actually taking the win in Brazil that day as well. But already now on top, Flopman there in second, Yossi there in third. Good laps being set by everyone so far. Just trying to see if there's anybody else on a lap. I think CC Brain is, but he's invalid coming through Variante Alta, running down the hill now on board with the man for CC Brain. Nathan JB, though, in the chat saying Cameron Dowd or Yossi for pole position. Yeah, let me know in the comment section what you are thinking in terms of your pole positions and in terms of pole times. Alex the G has came in the chat, the GOAT himself. Doesn't matter who's on pole, Keki wins, it's Emilia. And Dirk saying, come on, Floppy as well. That's towards OP, Flopman, of course, TF10. He should be watching his own team in F2. What's he doing here?
Oh, well, jumping from stream to stream, like I guess. I used to do that too, jumping from stream to stream. My ILT boys are currently in academy, but we've got Shazoo Tom making his way towards the final two corners with Vector 1 and 2. FYI, his teammate Cameron Dowd invalidated the exit of the Villeneuve chicane, just ran out wide a bit too much there as his teammate makes his way towards the line. Finished in P2, crossed the line now, it's a 13.5. And look at that, 13.5 club between Flopman, Yossi and Tom. It's incredibly close around here, as you expect, at the top of the Esports Masters League.
Yeah, definitely. So Cameron Dowd, as you mentioned, that invalidating as well, just coming on board with him there. But already now on top, Flopman in second, Yossi there in third. Dirk saying, looking at the division we should be in next season. I think you should be here as well. I absolutely said that when TF10 was signing up for Tier 1. And then in the end, we didn't have any positions in Tier 1, and that's why they've ended up in Tier 2. They should be here. They should be qualifying here next season for sure. And that, of course, is going to be starting after Christmas. I have got a very draft date almost for that. Apparently, it's going to be well, I can't really announce it, but it is going to be starting after Christmas, is what I can say. A rally in the out on top, Flopman there in second, Yossi there in third. Just trying to see if there's anybody else on a lap time right now. Wondox and Shocks there in 12th and 13th position. Shocks not producing much shocks right now. However, though, he is 200ths of a second off the back of Ryan. Ryan, of course, with that near enough an invalidation coming through the first chicane at Tamburello. He's now on an out lap. Ryan, we should expect to see up there, I would say in the 13.5s, 13.6s at least.
Yeah, I'm expecting Ryan to be up there. He's on his outlet right now. I was on board with PGS Lucas, who's just invalidated at the Variante Alta chicane. So that's unfortunate for him. So he has a set lap time. He went a bit deep beforehand too, going into Aqua Minerali. But I'm going to take you on board with a lap with OP Ryan, and hopefully he gets turn 2 right. There's a Haas ahead of us. I think he'll peel off into the pit lane, considering he's just done his lap. No, he's staying out there. No, a distant tow. I hope the Haas is on a flying lap too, or gets out the way for OP Ryan. We'll see what he does. But as we make our way now into the flat out turn 1, he gets out the way very nicely. Into turn number 2, this time doesn't skate over the curbs. Turn 2, turn 3, and turn 4. Fast speed connected with all the apex there. Look at the commitment. Look at the speed through as we come through the Villeneuve chicane, flicking it in after 50-meter board, carrying the minimum speed down to 4th gear, use all the exit as you can get away with 1.4 seconds up in the first sector, as you expect. So coming through Torsa, the car looks settled there. No sign of the rear end backing out yet. As we make our way now into Piratella, this left-hander. And it's very easy to validate at the exit of it too. Coming down into Aqua Minerali can be a tricky corner, especially uphill as well. Very easy to lose the back end, but the car looks pinned on the circuit. Looks like it's on rails so far. And it's a 48.9 as we head down into the Variante Alta chicane using the curbs on the entry there. Gets a good exit too, with the back of the car sticking as well. So let's see if this lap time is good enough for pole, which is a 13.4, as both McLarens are currently out there into Avazza 1 and now Avazza 2. Just hitting the apexes there, trying to get a decent exit without losing the back end of the car. And now it makes its way towards the line. So let's see what lap time it's going to be for the Ferrari driver. It's a 13.6, so a much better lap time indeed, but not close enough just yet.
Aurelian will be up in the first sector, though, because he's actually used a bit of slipstream with Yossi ahead of him down and towards Tamburello. So Aurelian there, using that slipstream to good effect. Slipstream, of course, allowed, remember, in EML. Not like WR Legacy Division where you get penalised. NLR, I'm looking at you. Aurelian now coming through the left-hander of Variante Alta, running off that section. Beautifully done, actually, from Aurelian. Coming out through that part, 10th and a half up in terms of this lap time. And he's looking very, very good on this lap right now. The Frenchman, the two-time F1 Esports Challengers driver. Of course, F1 Esports going to be starting on the 24th of November, only a week away in Sweden, the first event, as Aurelian now comes to the line at 13.2. Very, very strong lap from him. Now puts himself 3/10 clear of Flopman there in second. Yossi down on a lap, but he is going to get, I'm sure, a lot of slipstream potentially off the back of Aurelian, possibly later on in the lap. But it's Aurelian now on top, Flopman there in second, Yossi there in third, seeing if there's anybody else on the lap right now. The G League drivers are GL and Enzo getting a bit of faint slipstream off each other there, and Felkos, I think, is on the lap as well, just starting up. Havmik doing the same as well. I'm just trying to flick through, actually, and Enzo, apparently, according to my timing screen there, 4/10 up through the first sector. Very, very strong first sector from the Frenchman.
Yeah, he got a good tell of his teammate, like you said, into turn number 2. There was cars all over the place as well, so it's a good job they didn't hit anybody because it was so close. But it's coming through Ackerman-O'Reilly, one of my favourite corners indeed. It's so fascinating when you get it right, just carrying the speed up and down as we go 4/10 quicker again in the middle sector. And you might get a bit of compromise, but thankfully, Arthur and Mayo gets out the way nicely there for G League Enzo. I thought he'll invalidate because he went out wide, but kept it in with the track limits, which is very important here as well. Key for the race, remember that. Into Ravazza 1 and Ravazza 2 into 4th gear, just using the car to rotate using the throttle to rotate the car as he makes his way now towards the line. What's it going to be for the G League man? Yeah. P2. What a great lap time there from Enzo, separates them, and that's great pace indeed from G League.
Oh, F7R nearly had a bit of miscommunication there coming into the pit lane, and Rallying was speeding past him. And Yossi was a 10th and a half down. He must have made a mistake, I think, through Variante Alta on the run down the hill. And that's why he is now in the pit lane. And he's going to get held up a good 30 seconds here in the pit lane. So Yossi is not going to be in trouble. There's 6.5 minutes left in the session, so he'll be fine. But it's going to set him back just a little bit compared to everyone else in the field. Flopman there going third as well. Just trying to see if there's anybody on the lap right now. GL is on a lap as well. The Frenchman, of course, setting up a podium and actually getting a bit of slipstream running up the hill. He was right on board in toward Piratella through the left-hander, returning Brighton. I thought they were going to go the slipstreaming down the hill in towards Aqua Minerale. Nathan JB mentioned in the chat a 1:13 flat for Paul. Yeah, potentially so. Apologies, by the way, if you did get any adverts, by the way, there from the YouTube, and not how I've set up the stream, just how YouTube rolls with the adverts. Now comes through the left-hander, over into Alta, but Gilles with a huge mistake, and that is going to back him off on terms of that. Disappointing, because he has got pace around this track.
Yeah, massive snap of oversteer on the entry to the Variante, unfortunately, which unsettled the rear and cost him, and unfortunately, he's not going to set a lap time due to that. So both G League drivers in the pit lane, same with the F7R boys as well, so not really orchestrated there on their end. Shizou Tom invalidated the exit of Piratella, just went out wide, like we've seen a few drivers do so far in this session then, so that's him currently done with his lap time. So majority of drivers in the pit lane then is just awaiting other people. As PGS Lucas out there hasn't set a lap time either. What have you seen?
Flopman just went second. That's what I've just seen. A 13.3 from Flopman. Very good lap from him. Cameron Dowds I was going to mention as well. He went third with a 13.4. So very, very strong lap times from both the OP man and the Shizou man. PGS Lucas now on the rundown into the left-hander of Ravazza 1, then to the left-hander of Ravazza 2, kicking the car out wide there as he now comes across the line. Should be around a 14.5, I think. Oh, bang on, 14.5, very good lap from the PGS man. Slightly off on what Mattoso and GL have done, but still competitive, at least for PGS.
Yeah, it's important to get those lap times in for PGS then. It's a P15. I know he's been struggling a bit on his lap times with Lucas because he's been missing apexes, especially down at Ackerman or Raleigh too. So luckily, well, fortunately for him, he's got a lap time hooked up, which is a 14.5. Still down there, but hopefully for him, he can get his confidence and improve. F7R Damon, he went out wide now of the Variante Alta, but I don't think he's currently on a lap time then. So that's him. Done his lap time for the time being. I think Matozo, he's not on a lap either, so we're just awaiting the final few moments of qualifying where everybody dies out of the pit lane, and we could see a potential restart due to a five place grid penalty, which hopefully we won't see, because that's what tends to happen nowadays.
Yeah, you've jinxed it now, haven't you, if there is one, because I was about to say this track does provide some illegal blocking, but in the last 2 or 3 weeks, we've actually not seen many illegal blocking penalties. I think we've only seen one in the last 3 races, so drivers have been behaving themselves. Drivers have been told, look, get on with things out on track. Treat it like a proper qualifying session and treat it exactly how it is. Interesting call, actually, from F7R, because their cars are coming out the pit lane. Both Aurelian and Yossi coming out of the pit lane. 1st and 5th position, 3.5 minutes to go out in the session. Is this too early, though, for F7R coming out the pit lane? Because there are cars filtering out behind. I think it's both NLR drivers filtering out, both Alpines even, filtering out in behind. But F7R, with Aurelian and Yossi, I think they've gone out a little bit too early here, and they could be compromised later on in the lap, on this outlap, with traffic a little bit later on in the lap.
Yeah, that's the issue, Tate, when you come out very early and end up with encountering traffic. But if that does happen, you get compromised. Hopefully, you have the fuel left and the EOS management as well, cooling down the tyres, because it does tend to happen in the early stages. So if they're coming out very early. Will Aurelian sacrifice his first lap, because he's only got a 30.2? He had the slipstream from that too. So can he improve without a slipstream for Aurelian and boost his teammate up the order too of Yossi, because Yossi's been giving his teammate a lovely tow down the main straight. So could Aurelian sacrifice a lap there, you think, to give Yossi the chance?
Yeah, Nathan as well mentioned a good point, and I think rolls into your point as well. He's mentioned that one of them will have to do a double outlap, and that potentially could be the case. Aurelian might be the one, with him being on top, being sacrificed. But Yossi's now backed off, so I wonder if they are going to go for full runs here, and then retire, coming back in the pit lane, and then maybe cause a little bit of traffic on their down laps. But we'll have to wait and see. Aurelian is the first man out on track. He's currently out on top right now with the 113.232 slipstream enabled on this as well. And look at how Yossi is running very close to him, and he's going to get a very nice tow running down the straight here. Nathan might be right, though, because it looks like they are going to go for a double hot lap, and Aurelian has been sacrificed as a result, and as a result, he's just nearly gone into the back of the Red Bull, who I think was FVR Damien, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I saw that too. So I thought that'd be the case, because Yossi was way too close to start lap time. But let's see how much time he's gained. Only about 600 in that first sector, which is crucial. So there's a few cars up ahead of us. Hopefully to get out of the way. The first one's the AlphaTauri now. As we head down into Piratella, let's see how it takes this down into 6th gear. Back on the throttle once again, very nicely through there. Now we've got an Alfa Romeo who might be in the way. Yeah, this is going to be traffic for sure, but he gets out of the way just at the last time there, and let's see if it's affected him. It's going to be 800 up in this little sector as we head into the Valianta Outer Chicane. There's a Haas ahead of us, but he should easily get out of the way, pulls to the left-hand side, but he gets very close to Haas indeed as he wants the racing line. And now as we make our way down into Ravazza 1, there's a few cars ahead of us. This is the problem we were talking about when they came out early, and this is the problem they have towards the end of it, but thankfully nothing too major as Yossi makes his way now towards the line. Is going to be improved. 13.3 puts his car into P3.
Yeah, puts himself into P3. He will be P3 though, because Flopman is not improving. He's invalid on his lap. Cameron Dowd's there as well. I think has just gone 4th, so good lap actually from him. Yossi there 3rd, GL there going in 5th. I think was the one that actually moved up. I think Cameron Dowd has just started on a run, and he's through the first sector with a 23.6. So up there in the first sector, 200 top. Aurelian, though, is just going onto his lap as well. So right on board with Cameron Dowd then, on the run up the hill in towards Piratella. He's one of the furthest on out of everyone. Ryan there going 7th as well. Solid lap time from him. Tom is one of the furthest on as well, actually on his lap. He's now coming through in towards Variante Alta at the top of the hill. Nathan JP mentioned traffic paradise. Luckily, though, I don't think we're getting a legal blocking penalty right now, because everyone's on a lap. And everyone is pretty sparse in terms of the grid and in terms of nobody being next to each other, basically out on track as Tom now comes through. The Ravatas on the run to the line. He is barely down on his time. Is he going to try and improve, though? On the run to the line comes the Brit. He does. He goes 7th and ahead of Ryan. So not a bad lap there at all. Cameron Dowd's now on the run to the line, and he goes 2nd. Jamie Dowds will be proud of that one. He goes 2nd ahead of Flopman. But Aurelian is down in the first sector. His middle sector, 1600th down. So Aurelian potentially with no slipstream actually on this lap. And actually, just speaking of which, there is the slipstream running down towards the Ravata. He could gain a little bit of time here. Maybe about a 10th of a second, but could be enough just to secure pole position. Yossi and Gilles have already done their laps, and Aurelian has absolutely binned that into the wall. He made that mistake through Ravazza 1, and I think he's on pole. He realises that, and he is definitely on pole position, unless WSC can work miracles on the run to the line. Shocks there going in 18th. No shocks for him. Mundex is invalid. That's the end of qualifying. It's Aurelian out on top. Cameron Dowd in 2nd. Flopman there in 3rd. And Aurelian didn't even need to set that last lap because he's out on top by a good 10th of a second.
Yeah, went deep into it. That's a one. Just missed the apex, and obviously just had a lot of wheel spin to go with it too. So he knew he was going to improve anyways. But that was still a great lap time. Without the toe in the middle sector, to still gain some time. It was only about 600s down, but still, well, 100s down the middle sector. But yeah, pole position for him for Aurelian. It's going to be a great battle as well, like we saw back in the Brazilian Grand Prix. And we'll see what happens because Aurelian had a shocker, it must be said, the Brazilian Grand Prix after he spun the exit of Ferradura. But he's back on top this time, and let's see what he could do. So both F7R drivers in close contention. Ryan is just further down in P9 then, so crucial points to be offered tonight, and this is going to be very interesting then heading into this race. Looks like F7R, looks like the pendulum's going their way so far, but we'll see what the race has to offer.
Yeah, so far so good for F7R, but in the rivalry between themselves and OP, do not count OP out, put it that way. F7R out on top with a rally, and Cameron Dad's in second for Shazoo, then Flopman in third, Yossi there in fourth, Gil, Enzo there fifth and sixth, then Keki, Tom, Ryan, and Damien in the top 10. Jeslar, Havmik, Nuth, Matt Zolso, and Falco's top 15. LCR again with a good qualifying session. CC Brian and Lucas just behind them. And then at Shocks, Wundex, and Jackie, who actually didn't get a lap time in. Maybe, I think, they might have had a qualifying ban, if I'm not mistaken, one of the ex-esports drivers. But what we will do, because there's no illegal blocking penalty once again tonight, congratulations, guys. Looks all dry as well. But we're going to have a word from our sponsors. Next Level Racing, we'll be back in 30 seconds. Welcome back, everyone, to EML for the Brazilian Grand Prix, for the Emilia Grand Prix. Outplayed Racing, remember, out on top on 287 points. F7R in second on 285. 2 points. Just 2 points separating the good old rivals. NLR in third on 224. Team Chazoo fourth on 204. Then G League fifth on 170. ET8 in sixth on 133. Race Concept Racing in seventh on 83. X Esports in 8th on 82, PGS Sim Racing in 9th on 79, and WSC Esports in 10th on 48 points. We're not going to miss any of the action. We're going to go live onto the track now. Beautiful blue skies and sunshine. And Jamie, it is going to be very interesting because F7R out on top with Aurelian, Flopman there down in P3. Going to be interesting to see how the progression plays and how the pendulum swings, as you mentioned, between F7R and OP.
Yeah, last two races, F7R have had not the results they wanted after, especially with Yossi as well. And yeah, Yossi, I think it was Yossi who blocked Benza last time at the Dutch Grand Prix, but this time, let's see if it goes their way because they need the points. They lost the championship lead back at the Brazilian Grand Prix where Benza out-dragged Yossi and Tom as well, so lost even more points in that space of time. But we'll see. Can they gain them back? This could be a good one for them. No mistakes can be afforded on each end as well. Got to keep it nice and clean. And F7R can play the strategy against OP as well because I think Flopman's further down Ryan's further down the field.
Yeah, definitely. So I thought you were going to say a little bit more there. I was expecting you to go on a little bit. Just got shocked there. Anyways, we're going to get going out on track very soon indeed. And the drivers will be told to ready up in the Discord. I'm imagining it'll be past. We will begin. Ryan is the one that is the lobby host, so he has got the absolute privilege of sending everyone on their way. But in terms of that qualifying, remember, out there in top on qualifying, Aurelian taking pole position, Cameron Dowd in second, Flopman in third, Yossi in fourth, GL in fifth, all pretty much a who's who in terms of the top five. But I want to know in the comment section right now who you are predicting for pole position. For pole position, for the win even, here on this 32-lap race in Imola. I'm going to go immediately off the bat and say F7R Yossi.
That's an interesting one. I don't know, to be honest. It could be such a close fight between the top four. I don't know. I think F7R have got the whole advantage because they got both the cars inside the top four and can definitely play some games there and play some tactics and strategy calls and make other people go in the pit lane too with the undercuts. So Cameron Dowds, I dare say, he's got some decent pace around here. I've seen him race around here quite a few times as the Scotsman, so I won't count him out for a win, but any of these can go, and the lights are about to go out for you, James.
Here we go, 5 red lights going out in Emilia for the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix, and it is lights out and away we go, and Cameron Dowds gets the better start compared to Aurelian, and he's going to be side by side on the run down in towards Tamburello at turn number 2. There's an E3 wide on the background with Gilles getting a good start on the back of Yossi and already dropping him in position. Nearly 3 wide towards Tamburello on the Red Bull. And the Ferrari, sorry, has been spun, and that's Flopman round. Flopman is round for OP. There's also contact further down the field. Jeslo, I think, has been spun in a separate incident, but Aurelian there leads the way. Cameron Dowds in second. Yossi there in third. The wheels have come off from the Welshman's car, quite literally, in Flopman down in 19th position, getting completely chopped up by Cameron Dowds in towards turn number 1. Gilles, I think, was on the inside line of that as well, so another one there was a little bit of contact coming through there. Piratella now beckons as Mantoso and Enzo are side by side. Enzo's dropped down the field a little bit, but he's up the inside line and gets the job done, so I wonder if him and Jeslar may have had that contact further down the field, but Aurelian leads the way through Acque Minerale for the first time, and now in towards Variante Alta from Cameron Dowds in second, Yossi there in third, but drama immediately off the start. Flopman spun round at Tamburello.
Yeah, just like the first opening lap, but luckily he didn't retire from the session like F7R did at the Dutch Grand Prix when one of their drivers crashed out on the first opening lap. So he's still in. Plenty of safety cars can be a factor too. But F7R 1 and 3, a dream start. I think Shocks has gone for a bit of a moment down at Ravazza 1. Yeah, he's gone off the track completely there. And yeah, I saw that on board with Aurelian's rear wing. I think it was a 3-wide moment. I think Flopman just didn't have enough space down the inside to go and just tagged Cameron Dowds' wheel. So unfortunately down into 18th place, and what a shocker start there. The points they desperately need to stay ahead in the championship. And it's only 2 points to put my eyes at this evening. I don't even wear my glasses tonight, so apologies about that. It's only 2 points separating them.
It is only 2 points separating them, and it could have went from bad to worse because Damien was on the back. The ET8 man, actually with Havmik in behind as well. The ET8 team are on the back of OP Ryan, and it was looking really well on the back through the Villeneuve chicane. Just losing a bit of time coming through that part of the section of track, however. Everyone, by the way, didn't get damaged. There was no damage in that contact, just for Flopman spinning. Really, really shameful, I think, from him. Obviously, it was 3 wide. Gilles, I think, down the inside line as well, may have had some impacting factor. Stewards will have a look at that. They will definitely have a look at that. But what that does give is F7R the big advantage in first and third, and G-League there as well in fourth. Ryan currently 6th, Flopman on 18th. Only 3 points going to be coming their way. Is actually Wundex has just been overtaken by Flopman. So Flopman through after, I think, a mistake from Wundex at the top of the hill there at Variante Alta. Getting the job done. He's through to the 17th, and another point position gained for him as Aurelian leads the way. DRS, of course, enabled. DRS, though, will be enabled next lap around because the DRS zones around here, there's only one of them, and it actually works down the start-finish straight. So the start-finish straight doesn't actually count this lap around as a DRS zone, so you'll get DRS from lap 4 onwards.
Yeah, I think the detection points before Ravazza 1 is Lucas and Keke further down the field are having their own scraps. And let's see, there's an Alfa Romeo actually hit the Haas. I think that was Jakku who tried to go the inside but couldn't quite make it pay off. And he's got Felcars right behind him but remain as they are then. So Keke making up ground here. Not a great race so far for NLR. Well, great qualifying, I must say, but hopefully they can have a good race as well. Having 2 races. 2 race wins this season as well, back at the Austrian Grand Prix in Belgium. So they're currently fighting for P3 in the championship, fighting with Shizou as well, and they're only 20 points behind the Shizou. So P2 and P5 are a great result, homing in on that 3rd place. So plenty of constructors championships going on here in this pack, but currently F7R have an advantage, Shizou have an advantage over there's a lot of leagues. Team Shizou, so there we go. Get there in the end.
Speaking of Team Tajul as well, Yossi is right on the back of him, running down in towards turn number 1 and turn 2 at Tamburello. Cameron Dowds is closing very quickly on the back of Aurelian as well, but I think Yossi might have a slight half look in here to the inside line. He does. Ryan's more immediate, though, on the back of Tom through turn number 1 and 2 as well. Doesn't get the job done through there, and I think everyone is clean through the chicane once again as Aurelian leading the way. F7R, though, very much a very similar tactic to what they did in Legacy Division last night. Going hard from the off, really, really trying to power away. Yossi was part of that lineup last night as well. He got very unlucky, I've got to say, in that race in the Netherlands. And Yossi bouncing back from that form from last night. He's there in 3rd. He's pushing Cameron Dowds all the way. These guys, of course, in PSGL PSF1, which you can catch with me and Jess, of course, on a Monday. A little bit of self-promotion there on this channel. But Aurelian leading the way. it all looks for now in control, I think, more F7R than it does for Cameron Dowd.
Yeah, I agree with you, mate. I agree with you. I agree with you with that one, mate. Sorry, I'm just a bit ill. Still got a cough, so I'm trying not to cough at the same time when I'm speaking. But Cameron in a sandwich in F7R, and yeah, just under huge pressure with Yossi all over the back of him too. So how is he going to play this one out? And if Yossi gets if Yossi uses all that EOS and forces Cameron Dowd to overtake Owen and take him first place and beat the DRS provider, and here comes Cameron Dowd. So when he make an overtake, when he he's going to back out the throttle and just wait until later in the race. That's what they all do. Just settle down into one big DRS train on the hard compound tyres. Oh, the Mercedes in the background.
No!
Tom.
Oh no, there's desync between CC Brain and Enzo. Enzo tapped the back there of CC Brain. He lagged coming through turn number 1. CC Brain sent round. That is so unfortunate for the PGS, man. That I've never seen that before. But Enzo has basically hit the ghost of CC Brain, quite literally through Tamburello. I'm not sure if it's him that's lagging or if it's CC Brain. Might be one of the two, but Enzo has got away with that. CC Brain down in 15th. You have to feel sorry for him. And now Enzo there in 10th. Now getting away scot-free, and CC Brain's having more battles up and down the field. His connection, I think, is on the fly as Flopman is going to try and go around the outside of Aqua Minerali. Not quite, and yeah, CC Brain, I think, is the one that has got a little bit of a desync going on. Maybe his connection, maybe the weather where he lives is a little bit on the back foot. And speaking on the back foot, here's Cameron Dowd on the back foot because Yossi looks to the inside line of Ravazza 1, but he doesn't get the job done. Aurelian leads the way by 6.5 tenths. We now come through the left-handers over Ravazza's 1 and 2, and Cameron Dowd now is under pressure from the flying Swiss man, swirling his one, swirling his whisk even like a Lindt chocolatier as he comes down straight in towards turn number 1, and Yossi is through and he's into second. And I had to think of that because Lindt is actually a Swiss brand.
So both McLarens that in 1 and 2, they can control this race. They can keep Cameron Dowd behind because Yossi can use the back of the DRS of Aurelian and keep the Mercedes at bay. So this is what happened in Tier 2, I think, last week here in EML, with both Williams using DRS of each other, keeping the guy behind. This time, both McLarens are doing it too. So they're in a prime position, a really good position for the rest of the race. And yeah, as long as Yossi's in DRS of Aurelian, there's no way Cameron Dowd can be back into P2. Ideally, Cameron should have been in P2, so he can still have the DRS back of Aurelian and keep Yossi behind. But he didn't use a lot of EOS last time as well to defend.
Definitely so. Yeah, Yossi there in second. I wonder if he's going to use that one for TikTok. I wonder if F7R are going to be on him a little bit later on the side. James made a Swiss joke about you and mentioned that you were Lindt chocolatier. I wonder if he is, but he is cooking currently out on track, maybe mixing the ingredients up and mixing it with the best of them in P2 right now. But it's Aurelian that leads the way, the Frenchman, from Yossi there in second. Cameron Dowd's there in third. But again, that element of control now for F7R in front, and even because the closing speed is so quick around here, Yossi does want to be careful on the back of Aurelian. Otherwise, they're going to be right on top of each other towards turn number 1, and then contact could be made, and that is what you do not want. That's also, by the way, is through, oh, nearly through on the back there of Enzo, and Enzo absolutely gets him through Tamburello, and now Keki in the mix as well. Looks to the inside line. He, I think, has got a 3-second penalty. Matzoso fights that to the death through the Villeneuve chicane. Job done for him. CC Brain is out, though, through Tamburello, and that is a VSC. VSC out on track. CC Brain crashing on the outside curb, I think, coming out of turns 2 and 3. That is him out of the race. He had a bit of a lag moment as well with Enzo. But the first VSC of the night, at least it's a VSC now. But what that does do is actually put everyone that was going for battles, like the likes of Keki, on the back foot.
Yeah, indeed. But that's a shame to crash there. It's out of turn before, I believe that was. So just plainly lost the car there and crashed. So yeah, CC been unfortunate there for Haas. He needed them points as well down the constructors fighting with WSC. But yeah, it's a shame there. And Mark says, fun fact for the comms, CC Brain was the first ETA foreign driver back in September 2020, says Mark. And the VSC's got underway again, we can get racing.
Yeah, thank God for Mark for filling in with that fact, because we're back underway in terms of green flag racing. And here is Yossi on the back of Aurelian for the race lead. The Swiss man is going to be through on the back of Aurelian. It is job done for him, and he is through. Cameron Dowd's there in third. Gilles in fourth. And looking further down the field, I think everyone is there. CC Brain, though, leaving the session as Flopman is into the pit lane. Flopman, this is a weird one, unless he's had a little bit of damage potentially on the car. This is for a set
He
of
has.
medium compounder tyres. He's got damage on that front wing. I think it was left side end plate, as I saw coming in the pit lane. But Flopman there down. That's also just picked up his first 3-second penalty of the night as well. But Flopman, interesting call into the pit lane. Of course, 5 seconds added on for his pit stop with that front wing change. I wonder if that was from either early on in the race or if he had a little bit of contact under that VSC restart.
Potentially, but the VSC didn't last long anyways to make him not lose a lot of time. So he's out there on the medium compound tyres. You get 2 sets of mediums, of course, if you choose the balanced strategy. So hopefully he's got one more at his disposal, hoping for a late safety car as his teammate Ryan is stuck in one big DRS train, actually, Damien all over the back of him as he's edging towards him with his teammate right behind him too. So both ETA drivers putting pressure on OP Ryan then, and let's see how it unfolds going down into turn number 2. All of them on the hard compound tyres, as you expect, nobody in the mediums, because hards to mediums is the best strategy to go in any track. PGS Luke has been swabbed by Keke into Ravazza 2, but as we head down into turn 2 then, as you see, the DRS is helping Ryan to protect himself against both ETA drivers.
Yeah, definitely so. I think Mattoso actually was the one that lost 2 positions there. Jacko was actually getting past on the other RCR driver of Falcors, but Mattoso lost 2 positions there. And speaking of losing positions, Cameron Dowd has lost a position to G-League Geel, and they're side by side, actually in towards Tosa at turn number 7. Round the outside goes the Scotsman on the back of the Frenchman, and the Frenchman, the former BDG driver back in the day, is side by side with Cameron Dowds up the hill in towards Peratella, and that is G-League Geel. Thurney's into 3rd. That's why he's a former BDG driver. Cameron Dowds outgunned by the master. G-League's Geel. Thurney's into 3rd. Very good battle.
What an incredible move, because Cameron Dowds was setting up to overtake Yossi at turn number 4, and all of a sudden Jill appears out of nowhere. So Cameron Dowds demoted down into P4 and Jill's up into P3. So G League have actually been looking great in the last few races as well. They're currently P5 in the championship, looking to hunt down Shazoo, maybe a bit too far ahead, but still all points to gain for. Currently in P3 is Ghost King. Almost got a podium back at the Brazilian Grand Prix, but actually had made contact as well going down into turn 1, but hopefully it doesn't happen. Can G League get the 3rd podium of the season as well? And Jill was one of them, I think, back in Japan.
Yeah, it looks likely, to be honest. Keki to the inside line through the kink of 1, getting the job done on Enzo, and Enzo there dropping down the field into 11th position. Keki there in 10th. Bass, by the way, saying in the chat, oh, is that Tom is under pressure from Ryan, even in towards Villeneuve again. Bass saying in the chat, feel sorry for CC Brain. Yeah, I think we both do in the commentary box here as well, as Damien looks at the inside line on the back of Ryan now. No rest for the weary here in Emilia as we come up the hill with a bit of hand of rage from the Red Bull man as he comes up the hill with Ryan on the outside line. Ryan, I think, should back off this. Still side by side. That's what they get, though, for running side by side through there. Ryan forced off track. Damien had the room to fight that, and in the end, fair fight. Damien through these intersect. Ryan forced off track. Ryan might not be happy with that, but for me, that was clean, fair racing.
Yeah, Damien had the racing line and going side by side as a corner like that. One of you was bound to go off the track. We saw Pierre Gasly and Joe Guan Yu back in 2022, I think it was, and I think Gasly or Joe crashed into the wall at a particular race as well. I think it was in the sprint race. But yeah, Damien, what a good move as well, because like I said, Tom struggled out of turn number 2, which put OP Ryan all over the back of him, and all of a sudden Damien comes out of nowhere and overtakes him down in the inside of Torsa. But as you can see now, Tom putting pressure on Cameron Dowds ahead. What will both Mercedes drivers do? Because the Cameron looks like he's struggling just a bit in front, with both Shazoos in both F7Rs, first and second for the time being, with Jill showing some really good pace so far and putting O'Reilly under massive pressure, followed by Cameron Dowds then. So Jill putting the pressure on so far. It's nice to see moves up the inside of Torso at turn 7 as well in this race.
Yeah, it's a good overtaking opportunity around here. Tom definitely getting on with things. Oh, a bit of a snap there from Damien just in the back of shot there. But Tom there in 5th. On the back, bit of a fun fact, taking the trip out of Mark's book right now in the commentary and the comment section there. Did you know Shazoo Tom wrapped up his PSF2 title around even season 30 in PSGL? And did you know that I was on commentary that day as well? So Tom loves this track. He has had a love-hate relationship with this track in the past, but Shazoo clearly loving this right now. 4th and 5th, right there or thereabouts. Remember, coming into tonight, in terms of the the points, Team Shazoo are 20 points behind NLR Esports, and right now, I think they're gapping them pretty much to that margin right now. It's certainly going to be quite close for P3 coming out of tonight as it stands. But Shazoo doing everything in their power to try and get that P3 and wrap it off NLR and take it into the final race of the season. Somebody that I might not know is Jakku on the back of Matzoso, down the straight in towards turn number 1. This is looking as close as ever between these guys. Felkor's right on the back of these guys as well, and Felkor's is coming like an absolute scolded cat at turn number 1. Now with Jakku to the inside line. Oh, nearly forced off track there is Matzoso. Felkor's might try and switch this both. They're going to be under pressure. Still good battle between them both. How on earth they haven't made contact through there, I do not know. And look at the hassle. Lucas gets both of the RCR drivers. Brilliant stuff by the PGS man. That is opportunism at its finest. Lucas through and he's into 13th. RCR there dropping down the field. Not sure what's going on with the lobby. It is looking a little bit laggy there through that part of the track. But Lucas, take as you cometh through and he's into 13th.
Yeah, great move there from Lucas. Bit of a snapper overstay coming out of Piratella for good measure as well, as Jakku is actually pulling away, as Lucas now is left to fight with the likes of both Aston Martins, both RCR drivers as well. So keep an eye on that. He's actually drops out the DRS. Jesler has overtaken Matozo, who's gone off the track. I think Aquamelarali, but gets back on it and he's down into P16, unfortunately. I think he had a snapper overstay coming out of Aquamelarali, which is usual place because it's go up there. But Baz Bramer says, how do you block your teammate twice? Yeah, quite a funny comment there from Baz, but I have no idea. But unfortunately, they've had a massive disadvantage, fell down as P14 and P16, as one of them has got a 3-second time penalty. But a big fight for the lead there in a big DRS train all the way from first down to ninth, as Keke is actually 3.7 seconds away. So all in there has gone off the track. No, it's a bit of lag, sorry. It's teleports off the track.
Yeah, I wonder if Ryan may be having a few issues, because we have got a different lobby host here tonight. This is why, by the way, commentator apparently doesn't host, but Ryan is out there on track right now, and he's in 7th position, and the little bit of a lag. Oh, as Yossi goes off track, coming through Aquamelarali, that was not lag, that was a significant error from the man in F7R, gives Aurelian a chance now on the back of him, puts him now on the back, on the front foot, GL as well, on the front foot as a result. But Yossi, that's his first mistake. Certainly his first mistake out on track. 3-second penalties, by the way. There are quite a few of them out on track right now. Havmik on 3, Nuth on 3, Keke on 3. Lucas has got 6 now as a result of a 3-second penalty. Jeslo on 3, Madosa on 6, and Wundex on 3 as well. Nathan saying he thought he lagged off track. I thought that was a mistake. I think he bottomed out. Floored that car, bottomed out on the outside curb. And I think he went wide because of that. And now, as a result, Aurelian's all over the back of him. In towards turn 1. Here comes GL as well. The Frenchman going to try and get blocked in by the F7R man. GL knows what it's all about, though. He's had a block like this in the past from F7R. But Yossi somehow gets ahead of him and is somehow still second.
Yeah, I thought Yossi gets swamped on that straight like he did at the Brazilian Grand Prix. But this time he stays ahead of one of them, and that was crucial, though, to Aurelian to make that move. He couldn't afford to stay behind Yossi. They just had to swap positions and keep Jill in P3. So that was good defending from Yossi, in fact, going into turn 2 and turn 3. So both F7R, like I mentioned with Cameron Dowd, will have to swap first and second all the time to keep the rest of the guys behind in that long big DRS train. But Jill is trying to force the moves, trying to put the pressure on, trying to score a decent result for G League, and he's doing a good job so far. But can he get that first place? It's going to be so hard with McLaren essentially being a roadblock.
Yeah, definitely so. Cameron Dowd's made a slight mistake then towards Aquamelarali. That was my little ooh that you might have heard in the background. That was Cameron Dowd there in 4th position, making a slight mistake for Aquamelarali. Now, he hasn't lost much time. I think he's only lost maybe a 10th, 2 tenths here and there. But 2 tenths around this track in a DRS train is very, very hard to come back from, because you're running in the DRS, everyone has got it ahead of you, and you're pretty much going to be on the back foot. One split is going to be very, very easy to try and find. Cameron Dowds, luckily, though, was still on the back of these guys, as Nuth and Havmik are side by side in towards Tamburello at turn number 1. Now through 2 and 3, Nuth somehow gets the German-shaped Williams around the outside. Brilliant by the German. It's a British car, of course, in Williams, but Nuth, the German, through, somehow finds himself a German-shaped gap there from the German, and he gets the job done, and he's into 8th on the back of Havmik, and that is now 5 position gains for Nuth in this race. Most position gained, by the way, is Jakku up from the back of the grid after his qualifying ban. He is up into 12th position. Most positions lost out of everyone toward the front end of the field. Cameron Dowds has lost 2, Keke has lost 3 off the start, and of course Flopman after that spin and contact with Tamburello. He's down 16 positions, and ideally I think, Jamie, he is still probably wanting a safety car in this race.
Yeah, he is. He's down in P19. He's still going, by the way, so respect for him still going. He's putting pressure on Wundex in P18 there on the medium compound tyres. And Nathan says, honestly thought NLR would be higher. We've got a yellow
Yellow
flag, and
flag.
that is one coming out of Tulsa. So did he get tagged by Flotman or did he
No.
spin by himself? I'm not quite sure.
No, I have a feeling he's caught on that outside curb, maybe at Tulsa, and then just spun the car around coming out of the corner. Very easy to do. I've done that in my league race around here as well, so I fair know what has happened there between them both. But I think it's just a one-ducks mistake. And in the end, Enzo side by side with Keki running down the straight towards turn 2 as well. He gets the job done, and he's through, and he's into a 10th position. Lucas doing the same on the back of Felkos. But this is a really entertaining race. We're halfway through now here in Emilia. The roll call is as follows. Aurelian leading the way from Yossi in second, GL in third, Cameron Dowds fourth, Tom in fifth, then Damien, Ryan, Nuth, Havmik and Enzo top 10, Keki, Jaku, Lucas, Felkos and Jeslar top 15, and then it was Matt Dosa, but he's come into the pit lane. It's now Shocks in 16th, Flopman in 17, Matt Dosa there in 18, he's into the pit lane, might come out behind Wondex if I'm not mistaken. He's going to be side by side with his teammates coming out of the pit lane, and they are, sorry, in different teams, of course. RCR and the WSC man has got ahead indeed. He's 18th, and Matt's also there, fresh out the pit lane. On that set of mediums is 19th. Myself, James Head, and Jamie Morris taking you through the action. And as soon as I mentioned the roll call, Matt Olsen's just swapped through back on Wondex, and he's into 18th.
And we've got a pit stop. I was about to mention about who's going to go for the undercut first. So Yossi's gone in the pit lane along with the Mercedes there of Tom. So interestingly, the lead drivers are not in the pit lane. It's the teammates going, the second driver in that team going in the pit lane first. So Yossi is expecting the medium compound tyres, Tom as well. So Jill is extending the stint along with Orin in there. I was expecting Jill to come in the pit lane to make sure he gets the undercut on both McLarens, but in fact he stayed out there. You can see Orin using a lot of EOS now on his out lap or his in lap to try and prevent that undercut from happening from his teammate. But as they come out the pit lane now, a long pit lane out here, Yossi and those medium compound tyres can start to push as hard as he can, and let's see what happens when these guys pit.
Yeah, Flopman, by the way, is going to come out, I think, in the middle of this pack. He's going to be ahead of Felkos, ahead of Lucas, and Enzo is going to be ahead of him. So Flopman is there in 14th. He's not entirely out of it. He's 3.3 seconds off. Of course, he's got to make up, ideally, another pit stop, because I can't see him making, 20-odd laps on that car. Nuth, I think, has had a moment coming through Aqua Minerale. He has indeed. Coming out of the corner, he has spun on the outside curb. I think he's not got away with damage. He's got broken from wing completely. That is unfortunate for the German. Puts him now completely on the back foot in this race. So unfortunate for him. Aurelian, though, surely going to bail into the pits. He does. Gilles in. And Cameron Dowd is staying out. Okay, interesting call from him. Damien doing the same as well and behind. But Cameron Dowd's going for what I can only think is an overcut and having the fresher mediums to the end of the race. Medium compound tyres around this track, you will gain, on the first lap on these mediums, about 3.5 seconds a lap. So Cameron Dowd is going to be under pressure, not only from Aurelian, from Yossi, from Tom, but he's going to be under pressure potentially from Enzo and Flopman as well.
Yeah, indeed. So you're sacrificing your track position there. As we go, OP Ryan up the inside of Orin. So OP Ryan was, I think he was 6th in that DRS train, and now he's ahead of the McLaren of Orin. So you can see the power of the undercut as Yossi is back into P5 with a 1.5 second gap over Tom there. So it all kicks off in the pit lane there with the power of the undercut, but with fresher tyres towards the end of this race. That's going to be very powerful as well. And Cameron Dowd sacrificing that track position with fresher tyres. Can he make his way back up to the field as well once he makes that pit stop? G-League, Jill is all over the back of Orin in then. So both McLarens are not in DRS range of each other no more. Tom is just outside of it, but will he use a bit more EOS to try and get himself back in that DRS range of Yossi ahead of him? What will Cameron Dowd do? He comes to the pit lane right now.
Yeah, the two Frenchmen, by the way, GLG, or if he was going to go for the move at Variante Alta there, I would have gave him probably a cookie and sent him away to France, but he didn't get the job done already in there, an 8th position, Ryan hanging on as well. But we have got potentially that age-old battle that we love to see here in EML, and we love to see generally in league racing. OP against F7R. Who doesn't want a 10th tail in 12 rounds here in EML? Certainly going to be interesting between them both. Ryan and Aurelian, very fair drivers at the end of the day. Cameron Dowd, though, has came out exactly where I... Hurry up.
Are you there?
I think I'm there. Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
You can hear me. My OBS died. Apologies about that.
I can hear you now. I can hear you.
Yeah, my OBS
Is the stream
died.
still going?
It's still going.
Can they hear us?
They can.
Oh, best not say anything then. But Keke or Damien is in the pit lane. Orion has set the fastest lap of this race. There's Tom trying to get back himself in DRS range. He's just outside the DRS as well. He's not got any ERS whatsoever in his disposal. He set the fastest lap about a lap ago, but unfortunately, he's used all that ERS to try and get himself back in DRS range. He might have to watch out for OP Ryan and Orion right behind as well, followed by Jill and Cameron Dowes very shortly as well. So unfortunately, he's got no ERS in his disposal whatsoever. He's just outside the 1 second range of DRS, but can he get himself in it?
Yeah, potentially. So, again, apologies, by the way. It was just my OBS dying. At least it wasn't bad as last night, because my internet actually went off my laptop when I was streaming WR Legacy Division, and it's happened 2 nights in a row. So, interesting. Ryan, though, performing... Dirk saying, the first time ever I've seen Ryan do an undercut. Ryan is a changed man. Dirk has since left OP, so another wonder, I think. He has got that undercut strategy on. He's on the back of Tom. They're in 4th position, doing a stunning job at this stage. You can see in terms of the low ERS, by the way, that red fuel light flashing on the back of Tom's car. He's got less than 10% of ERS. In fact, he's on 10% of ERS coming out through the Ravatas. So he is going to be very much under pressure now from the OP man. Ryan realises that he's on the straight down and towards someone. Tom doesn't have any ERS, and it's going to be taking like taking candy from a proverbial baby here as Ryan Clooney's into 2nd, Tom there in 3rd. Good news, though, I think, for Tom, as we see Kaki dropping down the pit lane there, down in towards turn number, down into the pit lane even, and we see moves down in towards turn number 1 as well. But it's actually more, I think, good news for Tom, because he's now back behind Ryan. Ryan can drag him onto the back of Yossi if he's got the pace, and Tom can save up his ERS, so it's actually, I think, more beneficial for the Shazoo man right now.
Yeah, I thought Ryan would get in DRS range and getting close contention with the help of the DRS down the straight, but not there yet. He's 1.4 seconds behind, and like you said, Tom can regenerate some of that battery as well and keep the others behind while being low on battery themselves. So a good position is Tom at the moment in P3. Is Cameron Dowes then on the freshest tyres out the lot? Will that be beneficial towards the end of this race? Will 2 lots make a difference in this race or not? As Yossi now clear of DRS, showing his pure pace, 1.5 seconds ahead then, so he can keep this up out of the DRS range and try and pull away from the others while the others are fighting themselves for P2 downwards. You can see all over the back of each other. Tom almost hit Ryan. Orion almost hit Tom. There's a pendulum effect there going down into Ravatas 1 as they all get tantalising close to each other. And this is what Yossi wants, for all of them to scrap away while there's fight for P2s on. Look at Tom, they're gaining on Ryan.
Oh,
and
my
look
word.
at Orion. Are they going to make it clear first on the straight there? One of them's got to back out. And Tom is up into P2 ahead of Ryan, ahead of Orion too. So they all made it out unscathed, fortunately for them.
Yeah, that was very fair racing from Aurelian, but here's the other Frenchman now chomping at the bit. Gilles around the outside of the Villeneuve chicane on his fellow countryman, gets the job done, nearly puts him in the gravel for good measure. Little bit of lag, but Gilles is through and he's into 4th. Little bit of hard and fair racing once again, but that has now given... What I was going to say with Cameron Dowds is he was 2 seconds behind, now he's only a second behind. So what I was going to say is... he would be out of range of ERS and DRS potentially for the rest of the race. Now, because of that fight with Gilles and Tom and Ryan, and Aurelian dropping the position, Cameron Dowds is back within DRS range on the back of this gang. And that just furthers the point that Yossi is looking so strong and in front. And I want to ask you a question, Jamie, as well as the chat. Who did I predict for the win here?
Yossi.
And it's looking good for him right now.
It is, mate, indeed. Ever since
Even
he made
better.
the undercut and got ahead.
Even better, because Tom's picked up a penalty.
Tom got a penalty. Indeed, mate.
Indeed he has, and Ryan's actually coming back at him down in towards turn number 1 as well, but the Shazoo man is going to be hanging on for 2nd. Ryan there in 3rd, Gilles there in 4th, and then Aurelian there in 5th, doing a good job. Cameron Dowds back within that DRS range. You can see the black and white flags next to the driver's name, as we're getting 3 wide down the straight here, actually between NLR and OP's Flopman, and there is Keki splitting the pair. Literally like Moses, passing the Red Sea, through and he's into 11th. Jakku getting ahead on Felkos as well, actually into 10th. So Felkos there in 11th. Keki now in 12th. Beautiful racing up and down the field. This, remember, is for 10th and 11th. These are still for points, but it's brilliant racing so far. There is a yellow flag, and I think that's is it Jeslar? No, it is the Haas of Lucas that is off. Lucas off through Tamburello, exactly where his teammate went off. And that is unfortunate there for the PGS man. He is down there in 17th, and PGS going from bad to worse. They've got an incoming merge with Rising Lions, and they're down in... CC Frame's already at the race. PGS Lucas, they're in 17. They have not had the best of luck, but hopefully 2024 is their year.
And have you noticed that the leader has now got a 3-second time penalty? OP
Oh
Ryan's about to overtake Tom,
wide.
and here comes Jill. They make it a 3-wide moment again, and then Jill might continue this fight with Ryan into turn number 2. We go, but he can't do it, and Ryan takes second place away from Jill, ahead of Tom as well, down into P4. Lost 2 places like Cameron Dowds did, but now can Ryan then stay within 3 seconds of Yossi? I don't think he can catch him on pure pace because he's got to worry about the guys behind using DRS then, so that is very crucial for this race. Yossi picked up a 3-second time penalty.
And a bit of a slide there from Ryan as well. Puts him on the back foot, running up the hill and towards Piratella. 2.4 seconds. Look at Yossi. He's using that ERS wherever he can, wherever he finds that advantage. As long as he's got about 12%, 13% battery, he'll use that and get that extra speed down the straight. Ryan is going to be vulnerable to GL, Tom, Cameron Dowds and the likes. And speaking of which, we have a swap positions for Shazoo as Cameron Dowds clearly the quicker man right now with that 3-second penalty overhanging Tom as well. He's into 4th. Matteo asking in the chat, WTF is happening with all those penalties up ahead? We'll give you a rundown of everyone on the penalty. Yossi on 3. Tom on 3, Damien, Havmik, Enzo, Keki on 3, Nuth on 9, Felkos on 3, Jeslo 3, Flopman 3, Mendoza 14, Lucas 12, Shocks on 5, and Wundex on 6 as GL gets the job done on Ryan. As mentioned through all of that penalty malarkey, GL is now through and he's into 2nd. And all of this, again, good news for Yossi. The more that they're battling behind, the more he can just pull away, even with that penalty.
Yeah, indeed as well. Got to keep it on that battle. The all-important battle for P2 can change things in this race. Jill has got a lot of battery in his disposal too, so he could use that to good effect to try and close in on Yossi if he can, because Yossi is running very low on ERS indeed. Only 5% in that battery there, whereas Jill can just use some and try and pull away from the guys behind as well. But Cameron Dow's there in P4. Great teamwork from Mercedes as Tom is now under pressure from Orin behind us. Orin is getting closer and closer, but not close enough to make a move. But Cameron Dow's getting close to the back of OP Ryan as we head down into the Variante chicane. These fresher mediums giving him the grip he needs out of the corners and getting closer towards his rivals, but unfortunately his rivals ahead got DRS then, so not able to overtake. But let's see, in the latter stage of this race, can he overtake? The gap is 2.8 now between Jill and Yossi, so the gap keeps extending, but to be brought down now with the battery down a straight used by Jill to protect himself against Ryan. And here comes Cameron Dow's then, using that battery too to try and overtake OP Ryan, same in defense mode. But here we go then, side by side, heading into turn number 1. Let's see then who gets ahead. OP Ryan then around the outside into turn number 2, better contact too for good measure. Cameron Dow's has to stay behind. They have massive overspeed on Jill there. Cameron Dow's does a switchback coming out of turn 4. And now we side by side as we head down into 5 we go. Cameron Dow's takes 3 away. What a beautiful move, like you said there, James, ahead of OP Ryan. Now it's Jill's turn. With the fresher tyres, Cameron Dow's could be in contention for a race win, maybe.
He could be indeed. Yeah, you mentioned about Jill as well. We forget to mention, Jill's got 60% of ERS right now, and he's on the back of Yossi. Is that gap going to come down to less than a second? No, it's not. Jill is only going to gain, even with that battery usage, about 0.8 per second. Yossi can still pull away. He's got the lap older tyres, which in terms around this track is about 4 or 5% more off in terms of tyre wear. So Yossi will probably be around anywhere between 30 and 35% right now. Jill will be more around 27 to 30%, I think, in terms of his tyre wear right now out on track. And Yossi has actually got, I thought he got actually a little bit of a DRS, a free DRS slip from Wundex as he passes him down the straight towards turn number 1. Yossi there still in the lead of the race. 2.6 seconds. Jill in 2nd. Cameron Dowds there in 3rd. But Jill invited the fight actually in behind. I thought Ryan and Cameron Dowds were closing in very quickly. He invited the fight and Cameron Dowds wanted to try and fight him. But Jill's not going to be too cocky because Cameron Dowds there in 3rd. He's now got 19% of ERS. Jill's on 56. Cameron Dowds can easily get up to that ERS mark on this lap, potentially on the next lap as well if he doesn't attack. Jill there in 2nd, I think is going to be threatened potentially by Cameron Dowds and behind. So Jill's just got to watch out for that.
Yeah, I mean, he's got to make sure he keeps a 3-second gap or below a 3-second gap and keep Cameron Downs at bay as well. So that's going to be 2 difficult tasks for him. And Yossi will be driving his socks off to make sure that gap gets over 3 seconds. So exciting times there. At least Yossi is not in DRS range of anybody who can just pull away. Like you said, I thought he would get the DRS off the AlphaTauri who was being lapped there as Duth picks up a 3-second time penalty for NLR as well. They're both in P10 and P11. If Cameron Downs wins, it's Jill that has a massive slide going into Advance to 1. And if Cameron Downs wins and Tom gains good points as well, I think Shazoo could overtake NLR because NLR P10 and P11 and Shazoo may be winning, or P2 at least, with Tom there in P5.
Yeah, definitely. So
Yossi
Yossi has got that 3-second penalty. I think it was out wide coming through the last Ravazza, coming through turn 18 it is around this track, and in towards 19. That's where I think he picked up the 3-second penalty. So unfortunate for him. Now, normally in terms of the steward's report, if he does want to try and get that removed, he can put in a report in, but normally 3-second penalties aren't removed if they are driver error. And if that is proven to be driver error, and it was not 2 warnings at the same time, and that 3-second penalty was not viable, Yossi would still keep that 3-second penalty to the end of the race, and that steward's report, in turn, would be completely and utterly washed. Was that Aurelian going off there? Aurelian, I think, made a mistake coming through, unless I was seeing things and he was lagging there slightly. Aurelian, for me, completely went straight. Or was it Tom? I'm not sure who it was. There was somebody that went straight, coming in towards Aqua Minerali, but in the end, they lagged back the track, and I think it was Aurelian who did that. But Gil now in second, and Cameron Downs all of a sudden is on the back foot. 38% of ERS, though. Gil on 57%. The more that Gil does not use up that battery, the more Cameron Downs has got to use towards the end of the race. So this is smart tactics from the Shazoo man there in third, and he is playing Gil in his own game.
Yeah, Cameron Downs has been in this situation before. I think it was a few seasons ago in another league where he's been a DRS provider to all the others, and he had to save a lot of ERS at disposal. But I think he got overtaken by Jeroen Visser in the last lap of the race, and this could be the same scenario with Cameron Downs getting Jill, as Cameron Downs will continuously play it smart. Stay behind Jill if he can. Make sure he stays ahead of OP Ryan, because OP Ryan will be pouncing at any chance he can get. Save up some of that battery and overtake him later. So the gap's stabilizing between 2.5 and 2.6. So I don't think Yossi can extend that gap. He'd be wishing something happened in P2. He'd be wishing that those two were fighting for P2 all the time. But they're playing it smart tactically, waiting for the last stages of this Grand Prix. It might get a bit hectic, you know, on the final lap between Gio, Cameron Downs and Ryan. We'll see. It could play into Yossi's hands later. But it also, the guys behind got to make sure they don't pick up a 3-second time penalty. They could be on the verge. I've seen some of them go off the track a few times as well, so they can be careful not to pick up a 3-second time penalty themselves latest in this race.
You mentioned Jeroen Visser, by the way. Oh, it's Aurelian again, lags off track there. It is him that is lagging in the background. You mentioned Jeroen Visser. Jeroen Visser is there in the chat. The F7R man himself, of course, a fantastic driver in his own right, and he'll be looking on maybe for an eye to next week for F7R, and at this moment in time, not enough for F7R to win the championship. They will take the lead over OP, because Ryan's there in fourth at the minute, Yossi there in the lead. If that 3-second penalty, though, gets added on, and Ryan's within 3 seconds at the end of the race, then it may change. With Flopman down in 17th, though, and a rally in 6th, F7R, I don't think are doing enough to wrap up the championship here in Emilia. I'm sure Maze is frantically working like a frog in the background, trying to get every single number typed into a spreadsheet, every single permutation for us here in the commentary box. Yossi, though, leading the way, 2.4 seconds. Gil on 62% of ERS in second. Yossi, though, having to work very, very hard in terms of that ERS. Cameron Downs in third, 54% of ERS. So he's now exactly pretty much equal with Gil. It's about 8% more Gil has got, but he's now even in terms of the ERS. Now it's going to be game on down and towards turn 1. If I was Cameron Downs in this situation, I'd go for the move.
Yeah, I think you might have to, but Matosa gets a penalty. Yeah, I think you might have to, but what about the last stage? What about the last lap of the Grand Prix? I think that's where everybody does it, but sometimes you can anticipate it and defend from that, because Gil's still got a lot of ERS in his disposal too. So Cameron Downs, next lap is his last chance to get past Gil. The gap is down to 2.2 now, so I don't think Yossi will win this Grand Prix unless P2 and P3 have some sort of incident or fight it out side by side and lose a lot of time or pick up a 3-second penalty. So watch out for penalties and make sure that gap is under 3 seconds, because they know Yossi's got that 3-second time. It's been a great drive from Yossi ever since he pitted first, I think he pitted first. He just broke this DRS train and got a gap out of it, but unfortunately picked up that 3-second time penalty himself. So not a clean slate for him as he would have liked, but still great pace to break out the DRS train, and Gio could be on course for a win. But you got to watch out for Cameron Dowles. How close can Cameron Dowles get in the final 2 corners of Ravazza 1 and Ravazza 2 to get him down into turn number 2 in the first break-in? So we're about to find out. The gap is 1.9 now between Gio and Yossi. Then the gap's closing down. But what about Cameron Dowles? And this is going to be a pivotal moment in this race. As Nathan says, never seen so many penalties in Tier 1. Oh, Qatar, you should have watched that, mate. But Cameron Dowles then coming towards the final corner. This is going to be where he obliterates the ERS. Same with G-League Jill. Once in defense mode, once in attack mode, and Cameron Dowles is getting closer, pulls to the right hand side, takes P2, and maybe the win. That could be the race winning move there for Cameron Dowles.
It could be indeed. He's went slightly deep in towards turn number 1, though. Tamburello comes out of it on the other side safely. GL, though, has got 14% of ERS, and I guarantee it, he is going to use that down in towards the Ravazzas, through in towards turn 17 and 18, and then through 19. That part of the track is where he will use that up, unless it's up here in towards Piratella. I can't really see where else he is going to use that, but he has got a significant advantage over Cameron Dowds in this late stage of the race, so it's not over and done with yet. Of course, Cameron can still pick up a 3-second penalty, Jill could pick up a 3-second penalty, and then it turns completely on its head once again. Yossi, though, do not take it away from the fact he has had a fantastic race out there in front. Might not be to be provisionally. He might look into getting that 3-second penalty removed if he feels like it. His tyres are definitely dropping off towards the end. Oh, as Thomas spun in the background. Tom spins coming through Variante Alta. One Chazuman going to be on top, and one Chazuman absolutely bottled coming through Variante Alta. Yossi, though, through the final corner, he'll take the win. Fairly out on track, but in the end, Cameron Dowds wins in Imola. I think his first win back, actually, since he came from PC back to PlayStation. And Cameron Dowds takes the win. GL in second. Ryan there in third. F7R 4th and 5th, by the way. They do take the championship into the final race of the season. Mark mentioned a potentially restart, a self-restart, essentially, from Tom in terms of resetting the track. If he had no one around him, then I think it'll be okay. But if it's against the rules, then I think there might be a penalty coming in. But he spun, coming through Varianta Alta, gave Damien and Havmik 6th and 7th as a result. But Cameron Dowds taking the win. GL in second, Ryan there in third. And correct me if I'm wrong in the chat, I believe that is Cameron Dowds' first win back on PlayStation.
PlayStation depends on other leagues, but it's not the first time I've said Cameron Dowds wins in Imola. He won in Miami last time in a different league. Now he wins in Imola again. So it's not the first time I've said that, but congrats to the Scotsman there. Drove a phenomenal race. Staying out later, paid dividends in the end. It looked like he was struggling in the first stint because he lost track position towards Aurelien and his teammate too, but gained it back immediately. So what a great drive. James Head will be proud of his son there, as he's in the comment section right now, I think.
Did you just say James Head will be proud of his son right now?
Sorry, James Dowds, sorry.
I was going to say, he's not my son. I'm not old enough to have a son. Goodness me, what do you take me for? Oh, my word. Cameron Dowds and his family are not going to live that one down now. He's getting adopted with the paperwork coming through his door tomorrow. But it is Cameron Dowds on the top step of the podium, the Scotsman, doing a fantastic job out on track. It was deserved for Yossi, I think, to take the win. But Cameron Dowds, with that 3-second penalty for Yossi, taking that race win out on track, absolutely deservingly so. And as I say, I think it's the first win, him back on PlayStation. Fantastic work from him. Cameron's dad is there in the chat, absolutely proud as punch of his son. Good to see family members as well, I think, following. We've had Kian Goydendorp, of course, for F7R. His father in the chat, and as well we've had family members from other sides as well, Max's father and PSGL. Really good to see everyone supporting, and Cameron Dowds takes the race win. GL in second. Another lap, it might have well been different. Ryan there in third, Yossi there in fourth, with Aurelien there in fifth, fourth and fifth provisionally F7R do take the lead of the championship into the final race of the season. I think for the first time in 3 races they do. Damien in 6th, Havnik in 7th, then Tom, Enzo and Keki top 10. Jesla, good result for him, as along with Jakku 11th and 12th, and Felkos, Newt and Flopman top 15. Shocks, Lucas, Mattosa, Wundex to the finishers, and CC bring that down at the back of the field after the sole DNF, which caused the VSC out on track. Which we only had, really, in terms of a VSC and in terms of an interruption to this race. Otherwise, absolutely brilliant racing once again. Hard but fair for the most part. Not really much contact. Brilliant racing. That's how it should be in EML.
I love that. I enjoyed the whole race as well. And you said from the outset that Yossi was going to win. I said Cameron Dowds, and looks like I was right. So, yeah, I'm glad I got that one right for the first time. But overall, I enjoyed the whole race. So it was an entertaining one. We've had some great moves at the Vilna chicane and at the Tulsa as well. And Cameron Dowds hunted down Yossi as well. But F7R, though, they still gave some decent points on OP, albeit though Ryan ahead of O'Reilly. But Flottman tried to stay in this race, but there's nothing doing. I think every point counts in this league as well, so he had to score some points. Couldn't afford to retire, but I think F7R have the upper hand going into Las Vegas, and Las Vegas is not everyone's favorite track. So I think Emilia was the one to win at as well. But Las Vegas can be a different story because I know it can be a tricky track. I'm not quite sure whose favorite goes into who because I'm not even done one lap around Vegas, not even touched the track, so I don't even know what it feels like.
Neither have I. We are complete and utter, well, I was going to say virgins, but we're complete and utter newbies, I think, going into Las Vegas next week. You are going to be right here, of course, with 17 turns meandering around the Las Vegas Strip, Caesar's Palace, the Bellagio, and the Venetian, to mention the landmarks. We are going to be in for an absolute treat. And at least you don't have to wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning like we do for the real life race this weekend here in the UK. You will wake up at 8 p.m. UK time next week for F1 and F2. Of course, Academy on before then as well at 6 p.m. UK time once again for the Las Vegas Grand Prix. And if it's anything to go by, I hope we don't see the scenes of what we saw in WRPC Tier 1, where we had 5 drivers going down in towards the final corners. I think one was on the penultimate lap of the race, and then I think all 5 of them nearly ended up in the wall. So let's hope we don't have that in Las Vegas next week. Let's hope for good racing. Let's hope for some really good action out on track as well. Power OP DRS zones as well. But what we're going to do, though, is end off the stream here. A big thank you to Mr. Jamie Morris for commentating alongside me once again here tonight. Been an absolute pleasure. Final thoughts going into the final round of the season.
I just hope it's a good race, like you said, and not to that 5 wide moment in contact going into the final corner. So I need to learn the track layout. Hopefully, I can gain some information this weekend going into the actual Las Vegas Grand Prix. So yeah, hopefully I can gain some information. It's been a great season overall. Thank you for having me on board for EML F1. It's been a big opportunity for me to commentate because I never thought I'd be here alongside you, James. And as always, James, it's always to be great alongside you too as a head commentator.
Yeah,
or lead commentator.
Lead commentator, head commentator, I'll take it. As long as it's an ego boost for me, I will absolutely take it. Nathan mentioned in the chat as well, just before we finished, he took a win in Cone Racing League as well, which I think is the league that you mentioned and referenced there in terms of in terms of the racing. Yeah, for Tier 1 comms that was. So it's his second win on PlayStation, but he is a very good driver at the end of the day, and Cameron Dowds carry Shazoo potentially into 3rd position as well, with NLR, of course, falling by the wayside in the bottom end of the field. But we're going to end it off here. We'll leave you, of course, with our sponsors, Next Level Racing. Thank you so much for watching Esports Masters League, and until next time, in the final round of the season at Las Vegas, goodbye.